big deal? He didn't do anything a normal human
No one's
couldn't
claimed
have done.
responsibility yet.
Whatever. Stop talking and let's identify our party crashers.
Caldwell. He's gone in without back. Caldwell, what's your status?
It's gonna take them a while to...
Right here. No change in rush hour.
Damn it.
Yeah, all the data I have right now.
Send in a retrieval team.
got away with the deadly virus they had stored there.
Hey, this wasn't the Vector Institute.
What the hell were you thinking?
Yeah, that's it.
Goddamn waste.
Why? What's the big deal?
What I need you to do
I've run DNA checks through all the outlet agencies. Nothing.
No picnic right now, I'll tell you that.
So the task force has a show.
You guys might as well be ghosts.
Yeah. Next thing you know, after every mission, we'll have to talk to some book order with no experience in the field about our plan.
God, what was Director Miller thinking? It didn't come from Miller. It came from higher up. Manderley.
Shut down London's traffic, causing gridlock for hours.
This is so
Agility committed massive motor fraud. They rigged the
There was another attempt to breach our firewall last night.
Access granted.
Exfil is impossible. The LZ is totally overrun.
The last team walked straight into an ambush.
Have a safe night.
This is bad. We need to increase security at the CDC. Biological warfare is going to be the World War III that wipes out all of humanity.
There was another attempt to breach our firewall last night. The reason I know it isn't the Juggernaut Collective who tried to hack us is that they gave up after only an hour.
Keep digging.
Evac team estimated ETA 60 seconds.
A word of advice, stay off the Aug Rights web pages.
It's gonna take them a while to.
The thing about the Russians is they never tell you the whole story. I guess I can't complain too much about secrecy when I work in a hidden underground facility.
I'll run it through. These guys might as well be going.
Run DNA checks through all the
Our stage is nothing. And the shit that was on.
Things got pretty hairy inside. The Jinn still believe what's been told them or don't. We need to know.
You think one of them would pop up on some list somewhere? You think one of them would pop up on some
You have an outside call to your
These are the chances he knew. Do the Jinn still believe what Singh told them, or don't they? We need to know.
all the data I have.
Adam, you're here. You made it in. It's good to see you're okay.
Hey, Aria, yeah, it was a close call. I got lucky. A lot of people didn't.
I was here working when the first reports came in. It was chaos. Phones ringing off the hook, people yelling, scrambling to find out what was going on. Then when Miller told me you were there,
I'm all right.
Good. You looking for him? Because he's tied up right now and meeting with Lyon, I think.
Really? He's using the NSN right now?
Yeah, I just saw him. Oh, hey, that reminds me, here's yours.
What's this?
The card for the shooting range. Chang changed all the codes this morning, said something about only giving access to people he's vetted personally. The bombing really freaked him out. Third one in 6 months, can you believe it? I'm really glad you're okay.
Thanks, Aria. I'll let you get back to what you were doing.
Yeah, I better get back downstairs. It's gonna be a busy day. Come by later if you want to talk.
Copy that.
To Agent Creed. Fully urgent. Gathering more to all of them occurring after Dr. Death.
I think Singh's got some kind of adrenaline addiction. He plays it too good to the edge.
He made it out of Dubai.
I'm telling you, if it had been anyone on the ground, Singh would be dead.
Well,
Give us a minute.
well, you know what? I think you're right about that.
First the Dubai mission and now the train station bombing. This is a week for the record books.
I've got to hand it to you for your role in Dubai.
Last night, the Collective published
My God, Jensen, I heard about the explosion. We should relocate. I was thinking we could corner Director Miller together. Tell him it's not safe enough here.
We're fine, Chang.
The police station, the train station, we're next. I can feel it. I can more than feel it. I can see it happening.
No one knows where we are. There's no reason to get paranoid.
That's where you're wrong. They're trying to pull the lid off of us, Jensen, or someone is. Praha Dovos just got hacked.
Our building's front company. Thought it was fake.
I wish it was fake. Miller's got me cleaning up IntelliCam footage from the attack to help figure out who these people are. Meanwhile, maybe they're trying to figure out who we are? Why else poke into an import company?
You think someone's figured out that the company's a front? Maybe they know what's really down here.
We have a lot of enemies. The people who bombed the train station. You don't think they'd love to know where we are? You need to help me figure out who's looking into us and make them stop.
I'm gonna need more information about this snoop of yours.
I don't know for sure that our cover's been blown, but if it has, we need to know before our enemies have a chance to do something about it.
You really think there's a risk here? Maybe someone's just poking around the fake website of a fake company.
If someone points a gun at me, I assume it's loaded. If someone hacks into the website of the company that serves as our cover, I assume they're doing it for a bad reason.
Such as?
Everything depends on who they are and what they know. But we're in the business of dealing with terrorists. If those terrorists find out where we are...
TF-29 likes its privacy.
Sure. More importantly, Chang likes being in one piece. Unlike you, I don't just brush off explosions.
What can you tell me about our front company?
Praha Dovos was designed to be forgettable. The kind of place you walk by 100 times and still can't remember.
It obviously caught someone's attention. What happens if we're compromised?
My guess, we dismantle and disappear. Agents go into hiding, director burrows into some hole, poof, no Christmas party.
You got an MO on this hacker?
At first I thought it might be the Collective.
But you're not convinced.
Not Janus's style to leave crumbs this big. But whoever it is, they risk exposing us. If the Collective ever found out where we operate, my God, Jensen.
Maybe Janus knows already.
Hey, don't say shit like that. I get nervous enough as it is. I need you to find out as much as you can about our Snoop. Make sure we're not in danger.
All right, you have any leads?
I traced our hacker Snoop to an unrented apartment. Top floor, 33 Hull Avenue. Just down the street. This guy walks by us every single day. Probably walks in.
You're kidding.
See? You feel it now. The constant buried alive feeling. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought we were supposed to be suspicious of things that go on outside these walls.
It's never that simple.
Just get into that apartment, access the computer they used, and find out what you can. And be careful, Jensen. We don't know who we're dealing with.
I'll look into it. As soon as I know something, so will you.
Shouldn't you be out there tracking down whoever tried to hack into us?
As soon as I know something, so will you.
What I hear?
Be careful up there.
We're designed to get
A
maximum.
word of advice, stay off the Aug Rights web pages this week.
Problem with the Collective is that they've branded themselves as online Robin Hoods. There are problems with the system, but that doesn't give anyone the right to commit informational terrorism.
I've run DNA checks through all
Composition
the
can tell us a
alphabet
lot, but it's the
agencies.
trigger that
Nothing.
really does the talking.
No one will.
You know as much as I do about these guys. They're augmented, well-trained, and very dangerous. And they seem to be massing weapons and augs for some sort of attack. We don't know what yet. You've heard of these guys. ARC, or the Augmented Rights Coalition. They're a human rights group who, on the surface at least, is trying to provide equal rights for augmented people. It was started by Dr. Talos Rucker soon after the AUG incident, when Rucker started to speak out against the anti-AUG legislation that was being passed by several local governments. If you ask me, it's not working. Things seem to be getting worse. ARC preaches non-violence, but a string of terror attacks has put them on the terror watch list. So I'll let you be the judge.
Something here, I'll find it.
Just wish someone would know.
Ah, what to say about the Juggernaut Collective that isn't speculation. A bunch of their members were running operations out of Montreal in 27, resurfacing for a while in 28. You heard of the Rifleman Bank Station? Bell Tower? Anyway, the Collective is a group of hacker activists, or hacktivists. Oh my god, I hate that word. Dedicated to the cause of freedom. At least that's what they say, or what their actions appear to say. They fight corruption by exposing hypocrisy and protecting the unprotected. No one knows the real power structure inside of the Collective, but there is one name that echoes over the darknet, and that name that echoes even louder than Hex, and you can talk to Peter Chang if you don't believe me, that name is Janus. And some say Janus runs everything, while others think there is no Janus. Here we go, the Church of the Machine God, and to some, the Church of the Machine, without the God. And then again, to others, the Singularity Church of the Machine God. This group has so many names and subgroups, it's hard to keep track. And believe it or not, they've been around in one form or another since the early 1970s. There are a lot of contradictory reports on who they are and what they want, but in general, they all want the same thing. They want to merge their consciousnesses and become one with the Machine God through a ritual they call Ascension.
I'm the guy doing this fucking job. Who the fuck are you?
These guys might as well be ghosts.
Is it or is it not a probable target?
There isn't much here to go.
Wasim Alam, the head of the Jinn, former limb clinic doctor and surgeon before he turned to more profitable enterprises. He brings the same cold and calculated approach he brought to saving lives to running his business with his brother, Salar.
I highly doubt.
I'm sorry,
Our arms dealer, Shepard, aka John Trent, is a former Special Forces commander and ex-Bell Tower operative. And as is typical for those ex-Bell Tower employees, he's been selling off old Bell Tower tech and weapons. But we don't need to worry about him anymore. He was killed by those gold mask guys in the
Composition could tell us a lot, but it's the trigger that
State
really
police
does
are
the
getting
talking.
stingy with sharing evidence.
This guy is the face of the Jinn and a charismatic force of nature. They call him the Bull of the North and the Heart of the Jinn. Real name Solar. Works in conjunction with his calculating brother Wasim, who saved his life during the AUG incident.
Run DNA
He is
checks through all
proudly
the
augmented
alphabet.
and parades his AUGs around wherever and whenever he likes. The hatred of AUGs from groups around the world has only emboldened him and his organization.
State police are playing stingy with sharing evidence.
Ah, the Diwali called this guy Constantine. Like that's supposed to be intimidating, right? We don't have a last name for Constantine, but until his death in the Razika bombing, he was a high-placed member of the Diwali crime family, answering to Otar Botkavelli. We suspect he has lots of connections in the upper echelons of the organization, all the way up to Rajesh Nikoladze and beyond. Between you and me, I suspect that he's a con.
No dice,
spy
not our
that
show.
watches the Diwali lieutenant closely to make sure he doesn't make a move on the boss. Ah, the elusive Radic Nikoladze. This guy's a piece of work. Driven and ruthless. When he came up, he was the youngest boss in the Diwali crime family. The man spends more money on suits than most people spend on their houses. Don't let the looks and the haute couture fool you. He's the boss, he's in control, and he squashed more than a few people who've tried to take him down along the way.
There isn't much here to go on.
Preemptive action would be great if we knew where to
I
start.
think one of them would pop up on some
The
list.
Church of the Machine God has a leader, but all we know about her at this point is that she's a woman, and they call her Mother. That's creepy, right? I think that's really creepy.
Adam, how's it going? Any trouble with the plant?
Patience, Alex. Trying to find the best way to access the motherboard without blowing my cover.
Sorry, man. Message received.
These guys might as well be ghosts.
There's a rumor that the Church of the Machine God is building a machine that will help bring forth the singularity. Sure, I guess that's a possibility. I'm just not sure what they would plug that machine into.
Patience is the first thing you learn to have.
You'd think one of them would pop up on some list somewhere.
How's security over
What I need you to do
Just
is
wish someone
listen
would
to me.
nut up and take the blame.
These guys might as well be ghosts.
My boss hasn't checked in for days. It occurs to me that he might be buried somewhere in the rubble. I'd love to get a look at the bomb site myself, but no dice, not our show.
Who am I?
I've run
I'm not gonna
DNA
do this
checks
fucking
through all the
job. Who the
alphabet
fuck are you?
agencies. Nothing.
Right now, I think my blood is about 60% caffeine.
Negative. They're saying it was faulty wiring.
The Prime Minister has cancelled all public appearances for the rest of this week.
This is so weird.
Your guess is as good as mine. This is Eliza Kassan, reporting to you live from Picus. Picus News, the global leader in fair, unbiased, and impartial reporting. And now for a close look at the events making headlines around the world. Here are our top stories. Is freedom of the press a threat to our freedom? In the hands of irresponsible journalists, it can be. Underground websites and radio stations continue to praise the Juggernaut Collective, an elusive group of vigilantes for exposing big money corruption. What these journalists overlook, however,
Right now, I think my blood
I
is
just
about
wish someone would nut up and take the blame.
We know state police.
The people studying the train station security camera footage asked my opinion about how vulnerable the surveillance systems
They're
were.
like serial killers. Deep down, they all want to be caught.
You'd think one... You'd think one...
Agent Singh. Wasn't expecting to see you again. In civvies, at least.
Just passing through. I wanted to thank your team for the backup in Dubai. That sting went to hell faster than the storm did.
You're welcome. But I don't think you came all this way to say thanks.
Director Miller asked me to get Agent McCready up to speed. Now I have the red-eye flight back to Oman.
Headed into the field office there?
Not exactly. One of our black sites. I'll be dropped in as a captured enemy combatant. After I contact my fellow Jinn prisoners, I shall lead a very convenient escape.
Re-embedding with the Jinn. Aren't you taking a big risk, given everything that happened?
No choice. I would feel safer if we'd been able to shut down that signal booster at the hotel. But I would feel safer if I took the test job. You see is what I do. We need to find out who hit us. And the Jinn will be looking too.
Could they get a bead on our gate crashers faster than TF-29?
Perhaps. They do not like loose ends. An augmented kill squad with military training. Have you ever seen anything like it?
Yeah, once. But it's a long story. Whoever they were, they knew exactly when the deal was going down. Any chance they were based locally, in Dubai?
No. After the incident, Dubai became the world's most luxurious tombstone. Perfect for the jinn, but for no one else.
I thought human augmentation was frowned on in the Middle East. Why was Dubai hit so hard?
Because it was another world. Two other worlds, in fact. One of extreme augmentations in gold or crystal, and one of thousands of workers outfitted for construction. Then, that day.
I know.
No, Agent Jensen, you could not. Some called it divine punishment. But that day was not the work of a merciful God.
Did we get anything out of the cleanup operation?
Mostly corpses. Heavily augmented, as you know. Under those gold masks, they were ID scrubbed. No prints, no dentals, no DNA match. Professional.
Could still be ex-Bell Tower. Plenty of men and material went AWOL after the incident. A competing faction that listened in on Shepard's sale.
It's a possibility. The audits and investigations of Bell Tower will go on for years before we know how many rats jumped from that ship. At least we recovered their weapons. Unlisted, high-spec, military-grade augmentation. Enough to build another couple of you. That is a joke.
Right. It's the world we live in. Anyone with an exemption to the weaponized augment ban is a useful tool. Or a terrorist. I don't envy what you've got ahead of you.
Actually, I'm looking forward to it. The truth is, when you've been under for long enough, you won't feel like an imposter out here, in the real world.
Yeah, I understand the feeling.
The city's still reeling in the wake of a devastating... To remind you folks that this is the third sentence.
Is there something I can help you with, Agent?
I hear you're on point looking into the gold mask mercs that hit us in Dubai. Any leads yet?
Christ, I know I'm good, Jensen, but I've only been on it for 5 minutes.
A lot can happen in 5 minutes, McCready. You check with the ME yet? Get anything off the bodies we recovered?
Leftovers are on ice at the Oman substation. I've been told they were scrubbed clean as summer whites. No prints, no dental, no nothing.
So in other words, it's no steps forward and 2 steps back.
For now. Singh may be able to dig up more for me once he's back in Basra with the Jinn. Just hope his cover isn't fucked, since you couldn't be bothered to disable that comms booster.
It's easy to make those kind of statements when you're back in the world, isn't it? I didn't expect you to be the kind of agent that deals in hindsight.
You're right, I'm not. Hindsight's for pessimists. I said, I hope his cover isn't blown. Now that makes me an optimist, doesn't it? Anyways, look, with Singh's contacts in the desert, maybe something will ping on these gold-masked jokers and we'll nail them quick. Probably just another fucking jihad looking to make some noise.
I don't know. I'm not so sure we should be looking for these guys in the desert.
Ah, is that so? You have some new information you feel like sharing?
Come on, McCready. These guys were augmented with military-grade hardware. Body augmentation goes against Muslim beliefs. They weren't jihadists. We're dealing with something new here.
I can see where you're going with this, Jensen, and I'm asking you right now to back off it. It's not your case.
Come on, McCready. We're not a couple of beat cops filling a monthly quota here. This isn't about whose collar it is. It's about getting the people responsible. Full stop.
Look, I get what you're saying, but I'm working a $5 investigation on 50 cents worth of shit. I've got speculation to spare, mate. Listen, I know I come off strong. I've got 3 ex-wives that'll back that up. But that's just how I'm built. Putting on a show for the new guys isn't gonna change what's underneath.
I can appreciate that kind of honesty.
Good. So when I say I'm impressed with how you handled yourself in Dubai, you can appreciate that I meant it. With that sandstorm giving us colonics, stripping the juice box out the chopper was an inspired choice. But that mission is over, and your involvement in it ends now. Got it?
How the hell did you get such a sunny disposition anyway, McCready?
Knowing about me is not going to make us friends, Jensen. But I'll humor you. Fine. I joined regular army straight out of secondary school, made UKSF at 25 and was recruited into the SRR 4 years later.
Special Reconnaissance Regiment. That's an elite unit.
Oh yeah, it's very glamorous. All champagne and blowjobs.
So what happened?
After 12 years hunting terrorist shitbirds across every desert on the face of the earth, I found there was no fucking end to the evil this world churned out. I couldn't see the point in what we were doing anymore. So I quit.
So what brought you back to the life?
I suppose it was purpose. A tool without a job to do can only grow rust. So here I am, back in it, serving my purpose. As a tool yourself, mate, you should understand that, yeah?
Yeah, I got it. It was nice talking to you, McCready.
No, it wasn't. I'm in the middle of something, Agent.
Security. These are the greatest concerns for this plane.
I guess the Transit Authority isn't in as much of a
I'm
hurry
scheduled
as
to
you are.
return from the dead. 0:30 Omani time.
Priority. Information archived within the walls of Palisade Property Bank.
It is Jensen. First the Dubai machine, now the train station bombing. This is a week for the record books.
Palisade Bank Corporation is now and forever will be the best secure corporate archiving company in the world.
Around the clock, around the world. Pike's News. Always watching. Because you are always
These guys
watching.
might as well be ghosts.
Turning now to Prague, a city still reeling in the wake of a devastating terror attack. Dozens were killed and hundreds more injured yesterday when bombs exploded inside Rosina train station. I do not need to remind you folks that this is the
I've run
third
DNA
such
checks
attack
through
to
all the
strike
alphabet
Prague in
agents.
6 months.
Nothing.
All of them occurring after Dr. Talis Rucker, leader of the Augmented Rights Coalition, took up residence in the neighboring Budalek complex. Dr. Rucker claims his organization is peaceful and merely seeks to ensure the rights of the augmented.
These guys
and
might as
has
well be
turned
ghosts.
against them. But with the United Nations set to debate the Human Restoration Act in a matter of weeks, could the good doctor be changing his tune? Your guess is as good as mine. This is Eliza Kassan, reporting to you live from Picus.
I've run DNA checks through all the alphabet
Global
agents.
leader in
Nothing.
fair, unbiased, and impartial reporting. And now for a close look at the events making headlines around the world. Here are our top stories. Freedom of press and freedom. In the hands of irresponsible journalists.
You think one of them would pop up on some list?
Hey, Jensen!